So we've learned that argument is an intimidating word. The very idea of an argument makes some people feel insecure. And what we've realized is that when it comes down to it, there are different kinds of argument. And we need to clarify what kinds of argument we're talking about. We'd say that there are three kinds of argument. The first kind is a debate. And a debate is where I must convince you. That's my aim. My aim is to show you that you are wrong and I'm right. And even if I haven't convinced you, I hope to convince the people who are listening. That's a debate, a win-lose. Has great value, debates are really important, and that's not the only kind of argument that there is. Second kind of argument, where two people come into the room with different opinions, is what we might call a negotiation. And in a negotiation, our aim is to decide. Okay, so our aim is to reach a consensus so that we can agree together, and that's our aim. As opposed to me convincing you, the aim is for us to agree. Negotiations and debates have great value, and they also have downsides. Because the downside of the debate is, of course, it's built as a win-lose, so someone loses. The downside of the negotiation is that in order for us to agree, and especially if we are aiming to reach consensus, we may well give up on things which are crucially important to us and our identity, and we may give up on it in order to reach agreement. The third kind of argument, which we would say makes use of the techniques of debate and the techniques of negotiation, but with a different aim, is the healthy argument. And a healthy argument, my aim is not necessarily to convince you, not necessarily for us to agree. Our aim is for us to grow, to gain in perspectives. And in that sense, when we're able to enter into a disagreement with the aim of growth and development, I don't necessarily have to convince you, and I'm not disappointed if I don't. We don't necessarily have to agree, and I'm not disappointed if we don't. What I'm looking for is to gain perspectives, gain different ways of looking at things, even if I don't change my opinion at the end of it. So we're often asked, all these arguments in lab settings where you're telling everybody what to do and they've got a specific story to read and we're in a particular place, all that's well and good. But what happens when an argument suddenly comes at me and I find myself in a fiery disagreement? And one of the tips that we can offer is the first step one needs to take is to assess what kind of argument am I in and what kind of argument would I like to be in. Because if I assess where I'm at and decide I'm looking for a healthy argument, so my aim in this discussion fight is for me to grow, my whole approach is going to be different. I may argue less, I may listen more, I may ask more questions, and in that sense, I may well influence the entire timbre of the argument itself, just by shifting my intentions from debate and negotiation to a healthy argument.